I'm live. Hi, everyone. All right. Hi, everyone. Okay, today I'm going to talk about what I did wrong. All right, and here we go. I'm just setting up with Facebook. All right, let me set up with Facebook. All right, so you guys are so forgiving. Here we go. Hi, MS Live. All right, I'm your host, Dulci. Hell, please forgive me. Just a second. All right, almost. Okay. All right, there. Okay, I got some confessions to make. All right, let's share this. I've got confessions to make. All right, first of all, let me share this in Meerkats. Okay. I think it's going to be up a little bit. Okay. So how is everyone doing? I will let you know that that I'm about 50% better. All right. All right. Okay. There is a potential disaster. I've got, let's see if it'll work completely on Facebook because I don't have my charge. I do, but I can't reach it. Okay, so that's not happening. I don't know where my charge cable is. Anyway, so one person is, let me look at MS Live. Trying to reconnect. Good morning, Ruth. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. All right. Hi, Sarah. Okay, I've got true confessions. True confessions. Yeah, true confessions. Well, I put on my pants, but hopefully, let's see if I can do this without showing. Let me tell you something. I was a disaster 2 days ago, and I am probably 50% better. And it's huge. What I did, and I'm going to say this a couple times, is that I was coming down with a cold. Uh, I was coughing, so it was a combination. What happened to me on Tuesday? Uh, I couldn't walk. I garbaged myself. Went to bed for the full day. Never got out of bed. Uh, did the did that for one whole day on Tuesday. On Wednesday, I was able to get out of bed, but I couldn't walk. And was that uh, the worst thing was the back pain that I don't know if you all get, but I'll tell you, it's a blessing every time something bad happens. It's fodder to teach you guys some of the symptoms that we have. One of the things is when we're hurting, right? We're hurting and we can't stand up and our core is weak, right? What do? What do? I slump. I didn't have the energy to come up. So it was like this all yesterday. Uh, but I was out of bed. I was on the couch, and my husband had to, legs were not working, so he had to help me around, and he got frustrated. It's hard being a caregiver to, and he just got frustrated. All right, so what happened is that for 2 days today, hi Joanna, I love that you're here. Uh, do you so I just answered your email, or your message. I love that, Joanna, you're here. To introduce Joanna to everybody else here, Joanna is a caregiver to her sweet husband. uh, Joanna, what is his diagnosis? What kind of MS was he diagnosed with? He's 41. Statistics wise, I can throw at you what the odds are, but I do not. I don't. So Sarah is her husband just got diagnosed secondary progressive. All right, now what kind of medication is he on? Ruth, oh, thank you, Ruth. And I'm glad you're here, Ruth, because I need you to know that I have got so much information. I have a bumper sticker that I have up on the wall. It says, "Don't believe everything you think." So I gather my information from various sources, and we talked about Genentech, who is the maker of Ocrevus and rituximab. Rituximab just went generic. Genentech refused to push through rituximab, even though it was being used for MS, and other it had a safety record, but they didn't want to get it approved for MS. Why? Because it was going generic, and it's like, why would Bear aspirin get approved for a specific treatment when you can go down and get uh, generic aspirin? So this is what happened. They created Ocrevus. They changed the formulation a bit. Um, the safety numbers weren't there, as compared to rituximab, and then I cannot privy some of the information, but the basically, if there's a way to do, hi Stephanie, uh, if there is a way for you to get generic rituximab and what you do is you get your CD19. Uh, um, all right, because but you get your CD19 blood work checked. Talk to your neurologist. If you're on the hi Diana, if you're on a monoclonal medication, which is these newer ones that prevent you from 80%. Joanna, of you know what? You know what? Gina, that is wonderful. Yeah, JCV. Most of us are JCV. Gina, first of all, I want to thank you all for carrying this show on Thursday or Tuesday. Thank you. I was a hot mess. So I wanted to tell you what happened for 2 days, between me having a cold and I picked up some medical marijuana that I can make brownies. So I made brownies, sleepy brownies. Problem is it was a tincture. I mixed it in, and these are equivalent to taking so many narcotics. at one. So between that and me coming in with a cold, now I've been doing zinc, silver water, wormwood. I just and I'm taking milk thistle and I'm trying to clean detox. I'm doing everything to detox. There's uh, because I garbage myself and you saw that. But you know what? I am 50% better. Still, I'm fighting this cold, but it's not getting me down except for exhaustion. And I thought about you guys because you know what I did this morning? I got out of bed and I was so excited I could walk, I could use my legs. Oh my gosh, I was so excited that I went into the kitchen, cleaned the kitchen, made coffee. Uh, um, I was able, and I made myself a breakfast, and I let my husband sleep in because he needed it. Uh, all right, it's Stephen. I've got same time. What are you saying, Stephen? Welcome, Stephen. Uh, all right. So what I wanted to say is that I wore myself out in the kitchen. I went and I sat down in the living room, and I was worn out. I had nothing, right? Because I what did you guys all say to me? Take it easy. Don't wear yourself out. So I wear myself out. You know what? I thank you, Ruth. Ruth wants us to discuss SPMS today and differences between rituximab and Ocrevus. And I did. Oh, Stephen, you have a cold going on. All right. Okay. So those of us with MS, those of us married to or caregivers for MS, we have to we have to get over getting sick. How do we do it? There's been studies on zinc and selenium, lysine. You take all of that. You take that. I'm doing a cleanse that you don't need to do. Uh, but I guess what? I think everybody should take milk thistle because it clears your liver. And we take so many medications. And Stephen, I'm sorry you got that. Cold, silver water or food grade hydrogen peroxide mixed with distilled water, and you spray that in a little saline that is for inside. You get the packets in the neti pot at the CVS at the local grocery store. Um, and Ruth is saying that she takes the same daily. The reason why we need that is that when I was in bed the other day, all day, I had a fever. I had a fever. Where that fever come from, I don't care. So the combination of me being sick, having a fever, all the stars lined up, and me taking medical marijuana that was way too strong to the point where, see, medical marijuana gets in your system and it's there for 30 days unless you cleanse. And the thing that I wanted to say is that uh, it can build up. It can build up in your system. And I think that's what happened. I just went I went through the roof with this strong stuff. So, all right, epic fail. I had an epic fail. Okay, secondary progressive. Let's talk about this. Uh, uh, let's see, secondary progressive. Can anybody tell you? Can anybody mention what secondary progressive MS is? All right. Can anybody mention what is the difference between relapsing remitting and secondary progressive? Because I can answer that, but I want you guys, I want to read because if I tell you, it's deniable, right? Because I don't believe anything I think. I can't. You know, I've lived long enough that things have happened in the world that are so fantastic. All right, all right. Hi, David or Daniel. Daniel. Hi, Daniel. Daniel, what's the difference between secondary progressive? That now that's primary progressive, isn't it? So what I'm getting is hi, D. Oh, thank you, thank you for being here for me. Oh my God, I needed you on Tuesday. Everybody carried the show for me. It was wonderful. You saw I even took a nap. I went back. I took a nap, but I was in bad shape. Two things: I had a fever. I was coming down with a cold, and I OD'd on pot on a strain that they said would really decrease spasticity. Okay, so all right, secondary progressive MS is there's most people are diagnosed with relapsing remitting. That is when you have an attack and you come back from it. And eventually these attacks make little holes. See, I'm gonna put you right, Ruth. Yes, Ruth. Ding, 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 ding. All right, ding, ding, ding. Ruth got the right answer. And it's not. No, that's not true. You guys, you guys. Oh my gosh, Ruth. Hi, Bathsheba. Ruth, you know what? We need to talk about this because there's a misconception. Everybody thinks that secondary progressive means nobody, no, uh, no remission. All right, what happens in relaxing remitting? All right, you got a cord, you got your spinal cord. There's lots of holes here. Let me see if I can draw because I think I want to draw. All right, you have your spinal cord. All right, that is the spinal cord. Relapsing, remitting. All right, you have attacks that leave you with holes in your myelin. All right, what happens is you take steroids or solumedrol, and you take that and you shrink these lesions. You shrink the lesions, and you feel better again because now it's closed the gap a bit. Guess what? It's still exposed, right? It's still so relapsing remitting is active disease, right? It's just the primary part of the disease. It's the primary. What happens after 10 to 20 years? These holes, these exposed nerves, are exposed for so long. What happens? They become brittle and they break. That's secondary progressive. When it's a secondary part of old damage that is come home, the chickens have come home to roost. So the nerves are kept by your not. You know what? It's not T cells. It's CD19. It's a cell cluster, and you have cell designators around your cell that tell that cell what is friendly and what is antibodies, what is not supposed to be in your body, right? It's scary stuff. So problem is that our CD19, uh, the cell designator is broken. It is responsible for telling that cell, right? It's communicating. It's like the devil. It's a demon cell, and it tells that cell, you must attack myelin. You must attack. This is a CD19 problem. What happens is the Ocrevus and Genentech and any of the monoclonal antibodies, I know we love to say it's chemotherapy, but it's not. It's not. It's monoclonal antibodies. Uh, Rituximab is great, or the generic is great, because when I studied this about 5 years ago, 2017, uh, it was when I studied this. All right, I'm losing my train of thought. When I studied this, the CD19 and 20 Genentech created a rituximab with a 16-year safety. People got it for arthritis, for different types of for leukemia, and they traced back all the side effects that happened because people took this. And what did they find? They found it safe. They found it safe. Ocrevus has side effects, more side effects. And so anyway, my husband started relapsing, remitting, and now they switched to secondary progressive this past year. You know what, Joanna, and that's what I was telling Ruth. If you have an active aggressive disease like I do, I have secondary progressive. I have these things that are making me feel worse, increasing my disability. And you know what? It's a second. That is, they say that you need to look at the 10 years prior, or the 10 years you're living with. If you, this here will result in your next 10 years. If you have an active aggressive disease, so you're still making new, new holes, but your old holes are causing the break, or it's causing the break. You have two diseases. It's best that your neurologist lists you as secondary. I'm sorry, as relapsing remitting, so you can be on these medications. The minute they list you as secondary progressive MS, there's no treatment for secondary progressive MS. Genentech tried to get Ocrevus approved for secondary chronic progressive. And the number one mistake we make, number one, is when we're not feeling better, we're not feeling right, because we have secondary progressive, we call a neurologist and say, I want to change medicine. Yeah, you know what? If your medicine is working, you're not creating new holes, right? If your medicine is working, you need to consider staying on it. All right. If you're not having new attacks, not having phantom attacks, and you know what, Ruth? There is active SPMS, and I love that you said that because it's true. And there's non-active SPMS. So if your husband, Joanna, if your husband doesn't have any more attacks, if he's past the attack stage, and the MS is now dormant, right? You have non-active SPMS, and it's, I can't tell you if that's you or not, but your neurologist can, because your neurologist did an MRI every year, every 2 years. You get your MRI, and it will reveal if your medicine is working, or if you're not taking it, and you've not had an attack for ever, right? There is a chance that you have non-active SPMS. Problem is, Ruth, uh, if you think you have non-active SPMS or purely SPMS without relapsing, remitting, if you have this, then so you have non-active SPMS and you don't take medication, right? Because you're convinced you don't need it. And all of a sudden you have a catastrophic attack because this happened to me. I made this mistake for you guys. This happened 2017. Johns Hopkins took me off of Gilenya. They took me off Gilenya because I called up and I said, I'm not feeling well. I want to change medication. I made that mistake. Joanna, everybody says that. I made that mistake. I made that mistake, right? So what happened? Johns Hopkins wanted me off of Gilenya, and they wanted my lymphopenia to come up before they gave me that monoclonal antibody for fear that I would catch an infection and my death. Ruth, I love to celebrate, but that's all right. So I didn't think. So when she had me off of medication, she's world renowned too. She's one of the head doctors for MS at Johns Hopkins. She kept me off of MS medications for 6 months. I didn't take it. Guess what happened? I had a catastrophic attack. All right, this here was in my lesion, my spine. This here was in my brain. I had let's see, 4 or 5 lesions in my brain, on my C spine, and my spine, and that is it, I have a T7. But anyway, uh, so if you have active aggressive. I have an aggressive disease. I was so bad, and learn from my mistake. It's better. Hi, Vanessa. It is better for you, from my opinion, to take medication. My opinion. I'm not a doctor, but I have so much experience, research, and medical books on neurology, on ortho. I love medicine, but I I'm always asking questions. So I interviewed. She sent me to a hemo oncologist, hematologist oncologist, who was able to analyze my blood and said, get on this rituximab right away. Uh, Johns Hopkins had to order. It was 7,000 milligrams or 7 grams of Solumadrol every day. I had to have that for 7 days. You know what? That's crazy because they had to stop the inflammation in my body. So, all right, lesson to learn here. You can do it based on your feelings. I feel like I'm fine. My neurologist at Johns Hopkins says that I'll be safe if I don't take medicine for a long time. You know what? We have to be our own advocates and we have to help each other. Uh, all right. So, Vanessa, again, if if you have active disease, it's not phantom attacks. When you get a new symptom that you've never had before, with me, it was dizziness. It's the ability to know which way is up when I close my eyes, right? All right, experiment. I'll close my eyes and watch. See, I kind of rock because so it's so important that we go to our doctors if we feel we have aggressive active disease and get listed as relaxing remitting. All right, rituximab, and I covered that, Ruth. I said the reason why rituximab over Ocrevus is that it's got now it's 18. No, I think it's 16. It was 16 years 5 years ago. All right, so it's 21 years of uh, no side effects, except you can have infusion side effects when you're getting it. And all they do is slow it down. They give you Benadryl. They just slow it down. It is so much better of a drug. There's no Ocrevus, I will say, has been traced to increase breast cancer. Uh, um, just you know what? If you do the research, because I can give you all the information I have in my brain, but again, what I've discovered is that if I tell you how the watch is made, most, I'd say 99% of you don't care. You just want to know the time. So I can't tell you specifics other than if you Google the safety history of rituximab and generic rituximab. By the way, I'm going at the end of April to get my annual or every 6 months infusion because my new Johns Hopkins neurologist has told me that I'm going to treat you so aggressively. He has me doing the CD19 test every month, which I squeeze out every 2 months because I'm okay. Uh, um, so we can watch that number. The number has to be below 6. 6. So if it is uh, um, when I get rituximab, that number, CD19 number, gets to 0. All right, but when it starts creeping up, uh, my new Johns Hopkins doctor said, I am not going to let you get, I'm not going to let you get uh, worse. You're not going to have additional attacks. Hi, Karen. What I'm going to tell you to do is that your job is to be an athlete, an Olympian. You have to do walking lunges. You have to use your legs. Use it or lose it, right? You have to do that. All right. So, you know what, Ruth? The key with rituximab or the generic rituximab is you shouldn't get it any unless your CD19, the blood test will tell you whether this dangerous maverick demon cell designator has gone up to the point where it's going to cause damage. Now, Johns Hopkins, we used to we used to we used to do every year. Johns Hopkins did, but CD19. Anyway, all right, Sarah. B cell depleters don't work because it's not a B cell depleter. It's a cell designator. All right, another chart. Another chart. All right. All right. All right, stand by, stand by. I'm going to answer your question, but you need a visual. All right. This here is a white blood cell. These here are CD, cell designators, right? CD 19 and 20. I love that. You know what? They are what? All right. And Sarah, you're primary progressive, right? Which explains why depleting this. Yes, CD19 is a blood test that all of our neurologists should be giving, right? It's CD19. Let's just say it's this CD19 and 20. It's a test, right? This here tells this cell that you gotta eat myelin. It tells the cell to do this. If you kill, and 78% of people on, no, it's not 78%, it's 70 plus percent of success rate of not having an exacerbation. So I guess, Sarah, you are the other 20%. Oh, relapsing progressive. Relapsing progressive. Huh. All right. All right. That's good. All right. So where was I going with any of this? Considering I have not drank my coffee. And Gina lives in Canada, and she just said all neuro should be, well, she didn't say all, I'd say all. But she says the neuro should be testing it, but they are not. In Canada, she is not able to get that test. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. It's, but you know what? Take it from my research. You don't need to know. I mean, I told you how the clock is made, right? I told you how the clock is made, right? I told you that. But ultimately, if you only want to know the time of the watch, go to your neurologist and say, I just heard, have them watch this video. All right. You know what? We're not, you're not alone. They can call me. They can call me. I'll tell them. I'll tell them. In fact, I will, there is studies on PubMed. It's a medical journal of everybody in the world publishes medical research they're doing. So, all right, there is research with PubMed that tells you Ocrevus and rituximab is CD19 killer, right? So you don't take my word for it. Don't. Again, I'm just a hack. I'm reading. You guys are helping each other to the point where you know what? It's humbling that I was able to come here. I was garbage, and on Tuesday it was just garbage, and you guys helped me, and it was so awesome because it tells you this show is not about me. In fact, it's humbling. All right. But it's humble. It's humbling that you help each other. All right. My photo. All right. Ruth is saying. Let me see. Let me go back because Ruth is. The T cells are confused and they need to attack the myelin. Yeah. Well, it's true. It's true, and it's not they're not confused. It's that CD19 and 20 is causing us to have attacks. Uh, that's why taking the monoclonal antibodies has a 70, I think it's 75% chance of keeping you from having an attack. Back when I was diagnosed in 93, and Karen, where are you, Karen? Because you're my sister in uh, having it so long. When I was diagnosed, and when Karen was, beta seron was the only medication, and it only had a 30% chance of keeping you from getting sick. That's 70% chance of you having an attack. I was on it. I was on it. To me, it was the worst medication I ever took because I was so sick. I was a newlywed at that time, and I went in. I was substitute teaching, and I went in because they need a long-term sub. Because the woman who was taken off, she took off to get used to beta seron. She was sick. She was so sick. I was so sick that. But you know what? I needed to contribute financially, so I went to work, and I remember them telling me, yeah, she's sick. She's got MS. She is now taking the one medication. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, you have no, I didn't say, uh, you know what, Gina? Go to PubMed. PubMed, print out the article, print out the study that says the mechanism of ocrevus and rituximab. If we print it out, right, and we hand it to our doctor and say, how come it says that this is active, and you say it's not? Why is PubMed? Why are these journals lying and to me? And you're telling me something. You know what? That is it's a picture of hypocrisy. The Bible teaches so much. In fact, I got the Bible back there. I wanted to keep it on the desk, but it teaches us so much about, instead of condemning other people, look at, instead of pointing out the speck of dust in somebody else's eye, blame yourself. It's got to start with me. Look at where the hypocrisy is. Uh, it's not. Antolia, what happened? I'll tell you. I'll tell you in 1 second there. But anyway, you know what? I get these articles and I send them to my neurologist, and I'll bring, because they want to check me every 3 months now, because he is, I think he wants to get paid every 3 months. Before it's every 6 months, and I don't know. I think maybe he's really worried about me getting worse, and he wants to be on it. All right. All right. So, all right, Ruth. I'm not going to talk about T cell and B cell. I'm not going to talk about that, because I think it's getting in the weeds. I think it is. What's the end goal? We're supposed to be learning without specifics, without getting in. Because I've studied that. I studied B cells and T cells, and ultimately, it's like reading. It's like reading. You just, what's the point? Get to the point. I don't want to read journal after journal after journal that doesn't answer the question. of the goal. The goal is not to have attacks. The goal is to stay in the game and to physically feel as best as we can. That's why it's imperative we exercise. We have no choice but to rehab. It's like we have strokes over and over again, and we're only good if we rehab. What I have to rehab is balance. I have to work on balance, exercise, ab strengthening. All right. So what when you have secondary chronic progressive, Joanna, it's important that your husband, but just tries to maintain it. Just tries to maintain it because you can make the difference. The blessing was I garbaged myself and I needed full time caregiving uh, for 2 days. So all of a sudden, I did. All of a sudden, I don't have. All right, where is I going with that? All right, lost point because I'm reading. Hypocrisy is when when somebody tells you that let's see Genesis let's see hypocrisy is where would I read that? Hypocrisy is when your neurologist responds to your request of getting this blood test CD19 and hypocrisy is when she says it's not a qualifier. That test will not tell us anything. That is hypocrisy. Hypocrisy. They have to be willing to be wrong. And these doctors who have had their medical license less than we've had MS, they just don't do it. They don't acknowledge the potential that they could be wrong. We might know. We might investigate it because remember, they're teaching at Johns Hopkins. My neurologist is teaching, studying. Uh, uh, he's teaching. He's seeing patients. He is just so much. So they don't have time necessarily to it's like whack-a-mole. Their priority is keeping us from getting sick, right? It's our priority to print out articles and hand it to them or email it to them. Get your neurologist email. Um, Fax it to them. You've got to be aggressive on this. So hypocrisy is when they tell us something that they can be wrong about. Uh, they are in violation of the Hippocratic Oath. Do no harm. They do us harm when they're not receptive to our concerns. Uh, that is so sad, Gina. Uh, that you know, I have a general practitioner that has so much respect for me that I can call up and say I have a UTI, and he knows that I know what a UTI on me is. I have test strips. I've got you can get them over the counter, and I call him, and he'll just call in medication. So that's what I mean by hypocrisy. Hypocrisy is you can't like I can't blame Johns Hopkins for having that catastrophic attack in 2017. I can't because I wasn't being my own advocate, right? I wasn't doing it. How can I blame them when I've got to start with me? I've got to look at what I did wrong. We don't have doctors that our family doctors anymore. That just, I mean, my neurologist or my general practitioner is, but hi, Tina. It unfortunately, uh, it's it's bad. All right, Joanna. There is, you know what? Hypocrisy is blaming someone else for something that you do yourself, right? Hypocrisy. You're a hypocrite. Uh, Hypocrisy is when you go to a neurologist who says they are going to treat you without harming you, and all of a sudden they don't give you a test, they don't treat you, and they're not respectful of your desire to be treated in a certain way. The Hippocratic Oath says that there has to be a relationship there. If there isn't a relationship and you're giving your doctor all your trust, and you still have a catastrophic attack like I did in 2017, right? Is it their fault, or is it is in one way because they weren't looking out for me the best, and they didn't ask me the question. Dulce, what do you think about being without medication? I would have said easily, I would have said my disease is more aggressive than me catching my death from an illness. So I want to be on this medication right away. If they put me from Gilenia to, by the way, when you stop Gilenia and you start another medication, uh, it has been shown that catastrophic attacks happen. It's more, uh, it's more the rule than the exception. Uh, all right, Joanna. All right, there is Provigil, Nuvigil, Ritalin. There's Vivance. There is medications for energy that maybe your husband can call the neurologist, or my general practitioner calls in a prescription for Ritalin. I take generic Ritalin. So, and that will help me function when I want to go to bed. It'll keep me from going to bed. So, Joanna, there's medication for exhaustion. It is all right. So, okay, Ruth. All right, Ruth is disagreeing with you. All right, she's disagreeing. Hypocrisy. You know what? Hypocrisy uh, keeps me humble and allows me to see the truth and what you're doing and what you're suffering, and bring everyone together because uh, uh, no, hypocrisy is not practicing what you preach. It is saying one thing and doing another. Hypocrisy, you're a hypocrite if you blame somebody else for something that you're responsible for too. You are responsible. Where was I responsible in 2017? Where was I responsible? I didn't make it clear that I wanted to be on medication right away. I can't blame somebody who's got the pressures of the world and is not in a position to uh, to visit me like that. It's fine. It's not her fault. I mean, it is her fault. But if you live long enough, you will know that every person in this world will disappoint you. Everybody, except for God. The only person. Everyone will disappoint you. And being a devout Bible reader, I'm still reading Matthew. Love Matthew, but I'm still all right. Bathsheba. All right, so she's Bathsheba is asking a little bit for help. Her problem is her spouse doesn't believe I'm tired, or she's tired and her body is hurting and she doesn't know what to do. All right, so Bathsheba, I want you to text me. Uh, uh, you know what? Do me a favor, text me at 443-910-3988. And I've got a couple bookmarks that I've got a bookmark, and then it's saying, we have got to be kindness, because our caregivers think a lot of them think we're lazy. I did a video about where your support system is. So Bathsheba, your spouse just wants you to be your spouse. Just wants, and if your body is hurt, now let me tell you something. This medical marijuana that garbage me a couple days ago, I have no pain, and I always have pain. So, all right, it's 443-910-3988. You can also message me through Facebook, and we'll do that. All right, so all right, Joanne. So look at that. All right, so Bathsheba, you have to have boundaries, and the boundaries have to start with you. You you only let kindness into your head. Now, I am, those of us, I married a bad boy. So those of us with feisty husbands have to find kindness in other places, through each other. Where's our support system? Our support system is not with our mothers and fathers, our kids, our spouse, our friend. You know what? Your support system can't be with them, because they only want you. They want us without the disease. So you know what? Give them us without the disease. Complain to me. Complain to Dee Dee or Gina or Sarah. Where's Jane or Vanessa? Uh, uh, is it? Oh, it's top of the hour. Thank you, thank you. Hi, Mark. Oh, all right. I think squeeze roll. Oh my goodness, I'm getting a lot. All right, Mark. The next step with spasticity is when baclofen and stuff doesn't work any longer. The next step is it's Botox injections to defrost your leg. So hi, Cheryl. Gosh, I love you. I love you, Cheryl. She is an inspiration. Cheryl, look at my Tuesday. Look what I did on Tuesday. I thought about you. Anyway, it's up the hour. I love you all. So, all right, there's the baclofen, Mark. There's the baclofen pump, which has no side effects. It goes into your spine. That's what we have to look at when baclofen doesn't work. There is the Botox injections. That is the next stage. You know what? Because I understand baclofen doesn't defrost my tree limb as much as I'd like. And but anyway, I love you all. Thank you for participating today. Um, Joanne, I hope we gave you something to think about. Uh, Tizanidine. All right, Tizan. Oh, yeah, she is. Ruth is saying with your spasticity mark, Tizanidine is another one. Anyway, love you all. Please, you know what? If you're on Facebook, if you can subscribe to YouTube channel, go to Dulci Hill and on YouTube and subscribe to the channel and participate in our lively chat. Uh, uh, I love you all, and we pray us out, dear Heavenly Father. Thank you for everybody here. Thank you for just the brilliance that you have coming through each person who deals with this disease. Lord, I ask that you surround each person with kindness and love and advocacy so that we can be awesome to ourselves, especially in a world of hurting people. Lord, just bring it to us, bring comfort to us. Allow us to be instruments of thy peace by helping others. Everybody here is here for you, Lord, and it's not here for me. I ask that you bring people who need us, bring people, and thank you for meerkats. Thank you. Love you all, and I will see you on Tuesday. Have a happy weekend. Oh, I forgot to tell you. All right, what happened? All right, let's see. What happened is that I was coming down with a cold, right? I had a fever and I OD'd on the night before. I had some medical marijuana that helps you sleep, and apparently it was a toxic level. So it took me out. It took me out. Just so that's good to know because I went from primary progressive, which you guys thought I had. Some of you, it wasn't. It wasn't. I was taken out, and I realized that I've got to do walking lunges, and I have to work today. I've got to rehab. Love you all, and I will see you on Tuesday. Bye.